won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now
What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to Pregaming here on Sports Money. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. Maybe a couple minutes thereafter, but we're ready to get after it tonight. I hope you guys are as well. Gonna have ourselves an interesting evening here. Not a ton of games on the card. It's slim pickings at best. So we're gonna do our best to fight through this card tonight. Get ready for a big, glorious weekend. I think I know what I did here. Excuse me. Bear with me. We're going to get this right. It's just going to take me a minute. I was messing around with some stuff, trying to get some things figured out. Mostly I was trying to figure out how to make it not look like I was a ghost. And I think in the process, screwed a couple things up. So let me see if I can't fix that. That's a little better. It's a little better. A little less head. A little less of my face. We're going to get after it, don't you guys? Know the deal here tonight. Despite it being a 4-game card, we've got action. We're going to go after it. We're going to try to get paid here tonight. Some double dips in both these spots: Toronto, Detroit, St. Louis, and San Diego. Parlay in that Nomad Athletics and Houston game. Got a big spot in Seattle and Los Angeles, and two WNBA games to get us paid here tonight. We'll talk Las Vegas, Indiana. We'll talk Chicago Sky and Seattle. Incidentally, the Caitlin Clark-less Indiana Fever and the Angel Reese-led Chicago Sky will make the card here for us this evening. How about you guys? Very curious to see your card. We all got to work together when it comes down to games like this and days like this, because it is slim pickings, as I said. Shout out to the Baltimore Orioles. They did not get swept today against the Cleveland Guardians. Disappointing. And I'll tell you this. I am involved. I gave this out as a premium play over on Winnable. Flavio Caboli in the ATP Washington Battle Royale right now. He's facing Francis Tiafoe. And he's a dog. I've got a plus 110 dog price out there. So if you're interested, that's the way we're going to choose to get paid in that battle. But before we get started, you know the deal. We got to do a quick recap. Talk a little bit about what went down yesterday. And it was a pretty good yesterday for us. So I'm pleasantly surprised isn't the right answer. Relieved that it was a little bit of a bounce back spot after the day prior out there. And it went pretty well. All in all, it was a decent day for us. Cleveland goes out there and bats down the Baltimore O's. That was a tight one, but Cleveland does win minus 130. The Yanks minus 1. Does not cash. Shout out to our guy, Bo Jackson. You know, it's funny. Bo was on Toronto. He gets the win. He goes to Yankees. He gets the win. He goes back to Toronto. He gets the win. We're best when we're fading our own teams. We know our own teams the best, and nobody knows Toronto better than Bo Jackson. The Red Sox smashed. Yes, they did. Plus 130. Had to go back to that team after the previous day's performance in the over 8.5. Would that cash in the third or fourth inning? So that was no sweat bet because it was a 9-8 win. So the double dipper cash there. Texas wins the game 2-1. We went back like stubborn mules to the under 8.5. It cashed. Oakland did not cash at plus 123. Tight spot, but it didn't get done. And we won another WNBA game. And we had the wrong team favored. The Atlanta Dream get the win. Rust fell apart there. the Phoenix Mercury get that 90-79 beatdown at the hands of a 7.5-point dog in the Atlanta Dream. And that's the way we got paid. So, all in all, solid performance yesterday. Felt like we were kind of getting back in that groove. And we're doing what we do. So, we're on our way. We got ourselves a big weekend coming up with this UFC. 12 p.m. Eastern time start. 12, probably be done by, I'll tell you when it'll be done by. I have some serious allergies today, by the way. We should be done by 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Eastern. 5:45 is the Whitaker to Ritter spot. And you can go check out First Strike, 3 plays. We went 2-1 last week. 2-1. I went 2-0 the last 2 weeks. So I gave you guys a nice juicy plus, I think it's another plus 185, 175 or plus 185 spot. And I think we're going to beat this line movement because I expect this line. Yep, it's already coming back. Literally, it's already coming back. So you don't want to miss those battles out there when we're done with this show. You'll have plenty of time tonight. It's a small card. And it's hot as shit outside today. I knew it was coming. 106 degrees in Chicago, and it's going to be 106 degrees in New York tomorrow. The only way for that to get to New York is to pass through my backyard. And it is fucking steamy today. Miserable day. With the allergies on top of it, I'm just battling all around. But we're going to battle the bookies tonight and see if we can find ourselves a payday ever so closely moving towards the NFL and college football seasons. We'll have preseason coming up here. I believe just next week. Just next week starts the NFL preseason, July 31st. The Hall of Fame game. The Chargers and the Lions. That's 1 week from today. 1 week. There is CFL action in there. It's a later game tonight. I was not, I don't know. I got to look at it a little more, I guess. I didn't like what I saw. Just didn't like what I saw out there. So it's all right. We'll get after it. Might be a short show today. We will see. But excited nonetheless. Golfing-wise, gave out some golfing action. And I think I'm pretty much in the hunt across the board right now. Gave out some first-round leaders. Sadly, whenever we see somebody catapult themselves up the list and go out to 11 under, it's not my guy. How can you have 1 week, 5 teams, 5 guys tie for first place? The following week, some dude goes out there and shoots at 11 under and solo wins that outright. Adam Svensson sitting at 11 under. But I've said this before, too. If you guys are looking for action here, I know we're struggling for the next week or two to get some plays down. Go back and listen to that golf video. Top 10s, top 20s. Plenty of action out there. And I'll tell you a guy that I think is right there. Luke Clanton. That's a guy that I gave out as a top 20. He's tied for 13th right now. He's screwed me a couple of weeks in a row. But this is one of those fields where this guy can go smash and cash for us. And it was like a plus 275, I think was the number out there. I might be making that number up, but a couple of guys in the hunt as well. Wyndham Clark tied for 47th is somebody that should play decent throughout the rest of this golf tournament. You could catch his plus top 200, or I'm sorry, top 20 at a really good price tag. Max Greiserman won this tournament last year. And here he is sitting at second place last year. Here he is sitting and tied for 69th. So big score for this guy to come in the top 20. There's a lot of different ways to get paid in this golf tournament. So you don't want to miss out on that. Go back and check that video out as well. But let's get to it. Not the biggest of card. We've got action. We want to get this action down. We want you guys to get this action down. So before we even start this thing, though, you know the deal. It's time to show some support. You do that by smashing that thumbs up button here. Rain, sleet, or snow, we stay ready to go. We want to give you guys winners on a regular basis, but need some love. Smash that thumbs up button and we'll get to work. Still not quite. Well, I guess it's okay. Guess it's okay. Speaking of okay, oh man. I got me some chiropractor time in today and it felt fantastic. Mind, body, soul. Keep a clear head as you try to cap these cards and make this money. Whoo! It was the pop, pop, pop. Felt great. Excited. Whole new lease on life after all of that tension being popped out of there. Anyhow, We're going to get after it. You guys know the deal. I mentioned this tennis play. He's plus 135 right now. So plus 140. You guys know my deal, though. I tend to struggle on the men's side of the house. So keep that in mind, but I still think it's a really good look. We'll keep our eyes on it. Also in tennis, Jessie Pegula is a great play right now. She is even money. Right now, Jessie Pegula, by the way, one of them gals I gave to win the or the tennis tournament. She is plus 100 right now in her tournament. Plus 110. Also, 7:30 p.m., you got to look at Venus Williams, guys. WTA Washington. I know we're going to talk baseball here in a second, but there are spots out there. Venus Williams was that plus 1,700 yesterday. Came out there, gets the win. Or was it 2 days ago, I guess? Now she's a plus 270. Yes, she took time off. Yes, she's coming back into this golf tournament. Magdalena Frech, more than capable of beating that gal at plus 270. It's worth a little sprinkle as well. A nice plus money bomber. So there you go. Jessie's now minus 110. Got to stay active. Got to stay in tune with what's going on out there. Capoli's probably going to fucking shit the bed. Come on now. Let's go. All right, guys, pen and paper out. My favorite part of the show. Let's talk about what you guys are involved with. Give the shout outs as they are here. Kenny Wood, Jay Main says, we out here moving boulders. Yes, we are. Brian Smith says, Tigers lean despite the losing streak. I think it's a bad spot for the Jays. Sports betting Patrick. Told you we're going to make a comeback. All I can say is someone better tell these books that Sports Money and Big Pimp, we're coming. Nothing more. We're here. We win. Let's go. He likes the Jays and the pads, and the money, and the run line. He's giving you guys a double smack. Both of them to cover run line action. Jay Main, Aaliyah Boston over 14.5 points. Got to get in there. Got to work together with this small card like this, you guys. This allergies, man. Brian Smith says the Tigers line is stinky as fuck with the smoking hot Jays team. And there's Skunt Blaster giving us the $4.99 dono and a play. The Skunt Bag play of the day. Not just any play. The Skunt Bag play of the day. Spread 3 units out in this game. He's got the Sun plus 6.5 and the Sun money line plus 215. If any dogs can bark, they're WNBA dogs. Brian Smith says I did play under 8.5, and that's terrifying. Terrifying. I don't think that's a terrible look. Not so sure that's a terrible look. Markel says, I like the Suns too, money line. Damon Waring. Good evening, Mikey and all cappers. Trevor Davis, Brian Smith says under 24.5 in the first half of the CFL game. I like the under. That was my look in this game, was looking at the under. It's come down a little bit to 48.5. So I can't fault you, Brian Smith. I think you're on the right track, my friend. Good luck to you. I may even tail a little of that first half action. Shout out to Fernando Mendoza. Damon Waring likes the Tigers minus 1.5. Hopefully they get on track at home. Jay Main wants to know if the Cards are a fade coming out of Colorado. Ooh, nice little angle there. Damon Waring says Connecticut Sun money line. Ricky Levine says, what's cracking? St. Louis, Sonny Gray, 14-0 at home as a favorite. Damon likes the Padres. Also likes the Athletics money line. Sneaky victory. DJ Hardy's reminding everybody to smash this thumbs up button. Good stuff. Jay Main's asking if you ever had a game coming out of Colorado. Irish King 365 gave out a bet boost that absolutely paid. An early payout too. No stress. Philly money line and Harper and Schwarber. Was a beautiful thing last night. Man, that was a crazy game. Phillies were smacking them too. I was like, oh man, we're going to get our over, but we're going to take a loss. And then Boston came back and said, no, you're not losing. Dehydrated today. Skunk Blaster's close to pulling the trigger on Chile, the women's squad out there. Fernando, you know it, my dude. Pimpin' ain't easy. And he's reposting like it's easy. Shout out to you, Fernando Mendoza. Irish King's got the Fever money line and SC over her points in her threes. Is that CC? CC? Irish King likes the money line in the Sparks first quarter team total over. Okay. Stop Geo's in the house. He got the CFL game under 49.5 on Rivers about an hour ago. Yeah, I like that spot. I kind of was looking at it. I mean, it's going to be close, I think, but Adita Day, he's looking at some tennis. Says, hey, Venus to win in straights. That would be 2-0 for all you newbies to tennis. That would mean she wins 2-0. Straight sets. Beat down. Plus 275 sounds like a great price tag in that realm. Flavio Caboli. Fucker. Jesse Pegula's plus 110. We're going to mess around. These aren't, I wouldn't fire, the whole bankroll on this shit. There are some spots I think that look good. Man, took the L on a plus 125 spot today. Men's tennis got me down. Hurt my feelings. Lost the first set 7-6. Won the second set 7-6. Lost the third set 6-4. And I was out the door. It was over. It was an L. But I don't think we're going to take an L in this first game here. Now, we're going to this is tough because it's a small card. We very well could end up as a house divided on a bunch of these games. So we do want to respect each other's opinions, but I respect mine more. You guys know the deal. We're all impassionate fans about our money. But we're going to pop this first game off. We're going to talk about it as we get this thing going. You guys know what we do here. We'll look at the cash flow, the line splits, where the money's coming in, how the books are reacting. We'll talk some injuries. We'll talk some updates. We'll talk about situations that we know. And in this case here, we know a couple of things about this series. Let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about the Toronto Blue Jays, the Detroit Tigers. And 57% of the bets, 75% of the cash. If you guys are looking at this thing, it's all in the Blue Jays. We look at the percentage of bets. We typically associate that with the, public betting. I think you're going to catch Jessie Pegula right now at a nice price tag because she lost that first set. Yeah, she's still sitting at plus 110. I like her to win this next set too. Plus 120. There you go. Parlay Jessie and Venus. Get yourself a 732 price tag. Lots of different ways to get paid. Anyhow, distracted. That's what happens. Real-time leaderboard. Screens in play. And so anyways, the percentage of bets, we look at that as typically being the public side of things. All the tickets being written. $1 tickets, $5 tickets, $10 tickets, parlay tickets, teaser tickets, prop tickets, everything being written. It's the whole soup. Then we look at the percentage of cash, and we typically associate that with bigger bettors. Sometimes bigger bettors are sharper bettors. And then we put it all together and we look and see what the books are doing. Now, this opened up at plus 110. It has moved a little bit. It's gone plus 120 now on the Toronto Blue Jays side of things. It's minus 134 on the Tiger side of things that opened up at minus 130. So 4-cent movement on the favorite. The 8.5s juice to the over, but haven't moved all day. 67% of the bets and 70% of the cash on. I do think it spent a cup of coffee at 9. If I'm not mistaken. It's Lauer and Olsen. Reese Olsen, 2.71 ERA, 2.8 ERA for Eric Lauer in this spot. Now, what we know about Detroit, we know that Detroit is struggling to produce runs. Post All-Star break, struggling. They came out on world beaters to start the season off. They did have one game with high output against that Pittsburgh Pirates team. But they've been struggling to win. You can't score, you can't win. They're lucky to get a run on the board. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, just had a big series against that Yankee spot, and they took 2-1 on that series, but they are scoring. They put up 8 runs yesterday, 4 runs the previous 2 days, back-to-back. They put up an onslaught of runs against the San Francisco Giants, and the Blue Jays continue to dominate the AL East. Where'd my notes go? What's going on here? Really tough day today. Tough day on this show. I'll tell you the way I popped off on this one was a double dipper to kick the card off here. And, double dipper because I want to play it two ways. One, the Tigers aren't scoring. Doesn't mean they won't score today, but Blue Jays are killing it. They're 16-4 over their last 20 games. They're 5-1 since the All-Star break, and the Tigers are 1-9 in their last 10 games. Got swept by the Pirates of all teams. Paul Skeens can only pick up wins, apparently, when he's playing some of the best in the league in the Tigers, which I do have a future bet on to play in the World Series against the Phillies. So I think you're getting value on this spot here tonight. Look, Eric Lauer, he allowed 2 runs or less in 6 of 7 starts. So you have consistency coming on the Lauer end of things. He's a lefty, which gets me going for the unders. You guys know I like that lefty under correlation. But because it's only one-sided, leaves you a little to be desired. 2.62 ERA in his last 10 starts for Eric Lauer. Pretty impressive. Striking teams out, 27.1% rate. One of the best in baseball. Not walking guys, 6.7% rate. So it's going to be tough for a team that's not scoring to get runs on Eric Lauer. 6-1 in Toronto's last 7 starts, 10-3 in his last 13 overall. The team bats excel behind this guy. And of course, the Tigers on that side of things, not good against lefties. There's the big story of the day. 25th in baseball in the month of July against lefties. 276 OBA, 191 batting average. And remember we talked about that WRC plus? 100's the neutral line, and that's a factor of batting performance against ballpark elements. This Detroit Tigers team is 76 in WRC plus. They're now, after that one game of massive explosion, averaging just over 1.25, almost 1.5 runs per game since the All-Star break. All that being said, you got the lefty or the Toronto Blue Jays smashing and cashing. Right-handed pitching, July, one of the best in baseball. 371 OBA, 139 WRC plus. They're averaging 5.7 runs a game. 5.7 runs a game over 20, not just since the All-Star break, but they are consistent. They are dominant. And that's why I'm taking some plus price tags on this Toronto Blue Jays team. For me, you're getting plus money on the AL East leaders. Now, granted, I do believe in the theory of thanks, Fancy. Much appreciated. But we do the show the way I want to do the show. If you got a show, we can do it the way you want to do it. But we do it the way I want to do it. So shut the fuck up and pay some respect. Period. But that being said, fuck off. How about that? It's my show. I don't have a problem saying it. We'll do the show the way I want to do the show, Fancy. If that's okay with you. And if it's not, well, now you get banned, Fancy. How about that? Love to get new users. But you got to show some respect, Fancy. I don't come in your house and tell you when we're going to eat. Do I? Do I? No, we don't do that. But we do play Toronto. We play the first 5 Toronto. We play the full game Toronto. And we look to smash this Toronto side of the house. I took this next game in another double dipper situation. Not often that I want to get engaged in. I guess I should probably look a little more at it. But either way, we're going to roll on. We're going to talk about what's happening in the San Diego game. San Diego and St. Louis will pop us off next. Coming in here telling us what we're going to do. Fuck you, Nancy. Fancy reminds me of Nancy. What are you being, a bitch? Fancy? Don't be a bitch in here. We're here to make some money. Oh, man, I'm sorry, Vitalis. Dr. Vitalis dialed in last night. We talked a little bit about that under. He dropped in the ref report as well on that Texas spot there. That was the way for us to get back to it, make it happen. And we got that Texas finally. Much needed under cash in that. Had to get that, man. It was not, it was a winning day, but we were still, we were 1 for 3. 1 for 3 on those unders in that 4-game series. Yeesh. Not the way you want to get paid. But I think as we roll on, we got ourselves, what the hell is going on? Hope I don't have the old virus. Hope I don't have a virus. What we got? There we go. San Diego Padres, St. Louis Cardinals going to pop off here at 7 or so p.m. In fact, 7:45 p.m. So plenty of time. Blue Jays start first, start in about 10 minutes. Then you roll on and you got the Pads and the Cardinals. And you got a spot that's very similar in line movement, by the way. This Cardinal spot to what we saw earlier there on that Tigers. 55% of the bets, 55% of the cash are on the Cardinals. Minus 142 moved to minus 150. It has moved 15 cents on the Pads side of things as well. 8.5s have dropped to 8s. The Cardinals. 74% of the bets, 71% of the cash on the over. And yet it's come down a half a run. Sonny Gray. Yu Darvish. 4.04 ERA for Sonny Gray. 6.08 ERA for Yu Darvish. You guys know I'm not high on Yu Darvish. I'm not really high on Sonny Gray either. Sonny Gray in a bounce back position after his last game. And St. Louis, this is one of the most underwhelming, inconsistent teams in Major League Baseball. They'll find some wins, then they'll find a whole bunch of losses. I mean, it's pathetic. It's disgusting. They're 54-49, very comparably priced to the San Diego Padres, who are 55-47. ATS, those are run line numbers. The Pads have, however, found themselves 55-47. Some like the Padres. That's going to be a mashed up NL West to try to see who's going to pick this thing off here. But Cardinals are coming off that series. Astute commenter. Colorado coming back from that series Cardinals coming back in that series against Colorado. Cardinals started both series on the road. They started off at Arizona, the desert. They got busted up. They rolled in, and they actually lost 2-1 to the Colorado Rockies, including a shutout yesterday. The Padres lost 2-1 to Miami. Padres started both series off on the road. This will be the third road start for the Padres, third series on the road. If you buy into that, I buy into that a little bit more than I buy into the birthday juju. Me, when I look at these things, I see these guys coming off this All-Star break. They played the Nats, maybe not the best of talent out there. They struggled. They played Miami. They struggled. I'm just not high on this Padres spot. And I'll tell you, when you look at these numbers and you break them down, you kind of have another situation. Well, yes, Sonny Gray needs to have a bounce back situation. He got rocked. He gave up 9 runs to Arizona last start. Before that, though, he was rolling a 2.64 ERA, a 1.42 FIP, 10 straight starts in that situation. Padres are struggling to bat the ball. We cashed on a ton of unders. I think every game in that Miami series was an under. Righties in July, the Padres are 29th overall in baseball OBA. They're not making contact, and they're swinging a lot. Their batting average 211. And there's that WRC plus. How you performing when it comes to hitting in ballpark elements? 28th. How many teams are there in baseball? 31? Not too strong a performance out there. San Diego, below average on the road on top of that. Not WRC plus 92. 100's the Mendoza line. 100's even. 92's bad. Sub 100, not where you want to be. Yu Darvish struggling his last 3 starts. I told you, I think the wind has come out of the sails. He's got a 6.08 ERA, Yu Darvish does. And a whip of 1.5. So he's putting ducks on the pond. It's just a matter of, can the Cardinals snap this, can't get runners across home plate situation. Home offense, though, they do play better at their own ballpark. 339 OBA, that's 7th in baseball. Here's 121 WRC plus, 4th in baseball. The number 1 batting average, 276. God bless you and good luck to you if you're going to get involved in this Padres side of things here. I'm double dipping this St. Louis Cardinals spot. I'm laying the half a run for the first 5 for the reasons we talked about. Yeah, bad start for Sonny Gray, that last one, but we'll give him the anomaly coming back from an extended rest period, the All-Star break, right? Get this guy back in the rotation, get him back in his normal habitat, get the St. Louis ballpark team back home. Yeah, they struggled. They struggle on the road, but they dominate better than anybody in baseball at home. And for those 2 reasons, I'm taking the Cardinals. First 5 minus a half. I'll lay the run line. And the full game, I'll just take the money line. A little juicy on this thing, but I don't expect it to be I don't expect this game to sail over any numbers. I don't think the under's a bad look either. The run line being at -1.5 at plus 140, that suggests that this thing is going to be a tight looking game as well. So can't get involved on the run line, but I'll lay a little extra juice to get involved with the St. Louis Cardinals money line. And, I play it up to the 150s are out there in a lot of spots too. I mean, you have to decide. It's very juicy, obviously. But I think sometimes we have to go where we're trying to get, we got to get paid where we can. And when you got a small card like this, I think it's how we get paid. Let's go. What do you guys have to say? 0-3 in tennis, like a jerk off, says Gorky. I feel you, dude. Won the tennis spot. We won that Clara Towson spot last night, by the way. That was a good little extra spot that we gave out there live. Gorky likes the Jays money line, as do I. Peter Gracia says, Mikey, joining late. Golf today was awesome at Killington, Vermont. Nice, dude. Nice. Killington, Vermont. Always wanted to go to New Hampshire and Vermont. Highest I've ever gotten was Lake George. Well, that's not the highest I've ever gotten, but the furthest north I've gotten is Lake George. Aubrey, is this stream UFC picks? We gave out some UFC plays. Gave out some spots out there. I'm going to tell you guys, you don't need to wait. Look, the new guard, the new school of thinking when it comes to UFC, Aubrey. I'm glad you asked. The sharps don't buy the dogs until game day. They let the public dummy up the favorites and that balloon up the sharps line. So I gave out a play yesterday on First Strike. I'm 2-0 in my last 2 weeks. It's plus 185 spot. 175, I think is what it is, to be honest. I like it. Duty's fighting just got busted up. Noodle Links busted up last week. I like Tabitha Ricci. I commented in the video, my teaser, my spoiler. It's not really a spoiler because I didn't give it out. I was debating playing Tabitha Ricci as the other play. The reason I didn't is because I think this line. So the play I gave out, huge number. It was almost a coin flip. I think there was like plus 115 when the week started, and he swelled to that 175. I think that's going to come back. Tabitha Ricci, though, I think she's going to continue to climb and climb and climb. I have a theory. I'll tell you this theory. Since we have a minute, we only have a couple games. I believe the UAE, the United Arab Emirate, I believe the Saudi, the Abu Dhabi spot is what I'm trying to say. And I believe that they requested this fight. It's the only women's fight on the card. And traditionally, them gals have to wear the burqas, right? No. They're allowing this fight, and the Abu Dhabi commission requested this fight particularly. I think two things. They're both very similar backgrounds. Grew up, family in the fight business, spent all their time watching the fight game, and they became grapplers, both of them. Now, Amanda Ibas, she can grapple, but she can also strike, and she's pretty good at it. She's a pretty rounded fighter. Tabitha Ricci was pretty much only a grappler, not a striker. Now, Tabitha Ricci has started dating a boxer. You probably heard about it. You can look it all up. We won't go into the details. But my suspicion is when they're rolling around naked in bed, they're having some conversations about how do you become a better boxer? And nobody can teach you better than somebody when your guard's down. Maybe you're guarded with your coach. You don't listen to some of the feedback they give. But your lover, you probably listen a little bit different. And last but not least, my thought process is these gals they're 115 apiece. They'll put a lot of damage out there, but they're just little pop-pops, little pop. Not going to really come through with a big swinger, right? Not enough power to knock each other out. So they'll wear some damage. But when it gets to judges' decisions in Abu Dhabi, you know them fellas are looking at TikTok stars. And Tabitha Ricci is that TikTok ass-shaking star. If it does go decision at plus 165, 170s, I think Tabitha Ricci is an excellent play. I just think it's going to go up to like 185. You might even catch $2 by the time it comes to fight night. So keep that in mind. Abu Dhabi requested it. Them dirty old men in the desert flip on TikTok, the big thing out there, and they see Tabitha Ricci shaking her little pom-poms. I think there's a spot for that play to cash for us. And probably, Ricci by decision. Thing is, Ricci by decision is actually, it was plus 160, both Ricci to win the fight and Ricci to win by decision. It then moved to 165 for Ricci to win the fight, but it stayed at 160 for Ricci to win by decision. Something ain't right. I think Ricci gets the fight done. That was the other one I was going to give out last night. So we'll see it. We'll test our opportunity here. Shout out to Gorky. Calgary by 13 plus. Calgary, Winnipeg, moneyline. Saskatoon, team total over 34.5 for Gorky and Hamilton. Let's give me the rundown. I got Gorky, don't mess around with spreads. He's a moneyline bettor, as you guys well know. Jerry Davis likes the under 9 in the Jays, over in the Astros, over in the Angels. Like those teams on money lines, playing under in St. Louis. Don't think I can get to a side. I've got a side for us. Gave you guys that little detour action. Talked a quick second about some UFC since we're here. But let's go on. Nobody caps the UFC. like I threw out there with you guys, expecting the judges when it comes down to it. I don't know. Shout out to Steve Bailey's in the house. Look at you guys. Got some great comments coming in here. Let me see. Let me catch up. Gorky taking those 7 points in under 26 in the first half, says Jerry Davis. All things can happen in the CFL, says Gorky. Montreal is not it right now. Vital says, I disagree on the over. Explained it on the umpire on both these pitchers. Suspect. Okay. Vital says, Alfonsi is umpire Padres and Cardinals. Calling 10% less strikes with 7% more runs per game. Wow. Our guy Vitalis giving us the ref report. Steve Bailey, New Hampshire's beautiful, but the beaches of Maine are so much better. Was that show called Maine Cabin Builders or something like that? That's a cool show. That always looked like a fun little gig that they had, especially when they had to take the boats to the properties and stuff. Vital says, if the batters are patient, I expect huge runs on both sides in that Cardinals game, I think, as he's talking. Jay Main says, I'm going to test Sonny Gray's chin tonight. Took Pod's first 5 team total over 1.5. It's not a bad bet. Man, I've been getting crushed on those 1.5s for the first 5 team totals. They get to 2, and I just can't get out of it. Jay Main likes Montreal under 19.5 team total. That's a nice look, too. Man, you guys got some good thoughts here. I like these plays. Irish King says Tampa Bay, Detroit over 8. Toronto Blue Jays, excuse me. Detroit over 8.5 is easy. Irish King says San Diego. Trevor Davis, I did TFO money line. Jerry Davis says UAE is in the Emmy, but it's not in the Emmy. Shout out to Peter Gracia, says RIP Hulk Hogan, 71 years young. A real American. Tough. They say things happen in threes. We lost, was it Theo Huxtable? Drowned in a riptide accident on his vacation down south. Where was he? Dominican Republic, I want to say. Drowned in a riptide. Hard to imagine. Then we lost Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness. Then we lost Hulk Hogan. Threes. I think we'll get Costa Rica. Thanks, Steve Bailey. That's right. That's where he was. That sucks. You're on vacation. We're on vacation. Boom, you're dead. Fuck. Ugh. May that never happen to anybody we know. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what the process looks like to have to get the body home. I know, I don't want to take a morbid turn. Fernando Mendoza says, might throw some pizza money on Sonny Gray over 5.5 Ks. There you go. Yeah, that reminds me of a prop. I was on a prop today in that Baltimore game. And I couldn't believe Ground Chuck, Charlie Morton, was pitching into the 7th inning. I laddered his hits 4.5, 5.5, and 6.5 because I know Ground Chuck likes to play to contact. He got the 5, so the 4.5 it was juicy on the 4.5. It was 5.5, and it came down. They let the guy into the 7th inning. I couldn't believe it. Anyhow, all kinds of things going on here today, right? Let's talk about this next game. Let's go to this Athletics battle between the Nomad Athletics and the Houston Astros. J-Man says, Mike, you ain't lying. Try not to. It's just easier to tell the truth, you know? It's just easier to tell the truth. Keeps it consistent that way. The Tigers are up 1-0 already on the Jays. Just like that 1-0 game. Wow. Francis TFO. Fuck you. All right. Onward, upward. We got the Athletics. We got the Astros. We got a parlay going on here. I took this Houston spot in the over 8 in this game. I was almost convinced to take the Athletics. 83% of the bets and 93% of the cash are on the Astros. And we saw what they did in Arizona. Continuing to surprise every single game. Just enough runs to get on top of the other team. Didn't have to be blowouts. They were just grinders. Fromber, not injured like I thought he was. Minus 130s moved to minus 144 on the Astros side of things. And the total went from 8.5 to 9s. You have 87% of the bets, 90% of the cash. It's Jason Alexander. Not the Seinfeld Jason Alexander. But he's got a 2.0 ERA, this Alexander does, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. Let's not dismiss it. Let's not discount it. It's a solid number this guy's throwing out there. But I don't know. I mean, he's predominantly, isn't he a reliever predominantly? I'm not sure. I know he went 6 innings the last time they played the Athletics. That's the game that I looked at. He got hit 3 times. He gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. And they're playing back again. Now, it's been about a month, but almost 6 weeks since he did play this team last. And the Severino goes on the athletic side of things. I did some digging. I found some stats that really surprised me. For example, did you know the Athletics in the first game of his series are an over team? I'm not so sure I would have guessed that. 16-1-1, their last 18 games. They're on an 8-game over streak when a series opens for the Athletics. Now, we know their ballpark, and people talk about West Sacramento, and it's a hitter's ballpark. It's about 50-50 to the over, and the Athletics play better on the road. So, with all due respect, I could see the Athletics, and I didn't want to lay big juice for Houston coming back home after that Arizona series, but I do feel like they kind of shook it loose, right? We talked about some teams that have been underperforming as they go into the All-Star break, and I think that the Astros, how could they not take the cake when it comes down to it? Now, overall, 60-42, and you're like, what do you mean, how are they underperforming? That first month and a half of the season, they couldn't buy a win. Severino gets on the bump. He's an over pitcher, 104 and 70 to the over. More overs than unders for Luis Severino. And I think that's where the challenge comes in and where I had to get away from the Athletics ultimately. Severino's got a 3-2 record with a 3.1 ERA on the road. But he's another guy that pitches to contact. And he gives up runs. He gave up, how many runs has he given? Listen to this. I mean, against the AL, he's given up 50. He's given up 18 on the road. He gave up 3 the last time he played Houston. So this team knows how to get to this guy. And that's just thinking about the first 5 innings for this guy, because he really doesn't go much past it. He gave you a 5 innings, a 4 inning, a 4 inning, a 4 inning, and a 5 inning. Because he's getting roughed up and touched up. That's why he's 104 and 70 to the over. So took a step back at it. I said, we got the Astros returning back home. What they play the Mariners, then they play the Diamondbacks. Get them back home post All-Star break. And I think they have enough to get on top of this Athletics team. And I do think the Bats found a little groove. They're not out there world beaten, but this total's moved from 8.5s to some 9s out there. So I took this back down to 8. And the best part about it is, even if they do get to 8, say it's a 6-2 Astros win, well, then we're still going to get this cash because the Astros won. Won't be the full plus 180. But I thought it was a good opportunity for us to swing up. San Francisco Niners. Can't start a fire without a spark. That's right. This gun's for hire. It's a good tune. It's a good tune, man. I might have to give that one a listen to later on. Jeff Matthews likes the Athletics run line, +1. Okay. Yeah, 1-0 Tigers. We saw it. Not where we want to position ourselves early in that game, but it is early. Plenty of time. Last game I got for you guys on this card. You say Kikuchi. I say I like it. And this one's a little tricky. I'm going to tell you, I opted to go for the big score in this one because I do have a little trepidation. Shout out to my guy, Jose Bouquet. Dropping the old trepidation line. Dropped it so much I had to start saying it myself. The Mariners and the Angels. The Mariners aren't built to play at their own ballpark. How many times have you heard me say it? But how can it not be true? Now, they did play the Astros. They did win that series 2-1. And it was because they scored 6 and 7 runs. The first game of the series against the Brewers, they got shut out. The second game of the series, they scored 1 run. The third game of the series, they scored 2 runs. Where are the runs, Seattle? But they're on the road. And they're in a spot where it should be hitter central. Looks like it's going to be a little warm out there. Should see ourselves in a battle. Seattle Mariners, second place in the AL West. So not a team to be taken lightly. And considering, 52 and 48, they're just not playing great at home. Pitching does well. We cashed some unders in that series as well. But the road's a whole different story. First road trip since the All-Star break. And as you're looking at the Angel side of things, you've got Kikuchi. That's where I think this thing gets a little suspect. Now, the Angels line 46% of the bets, 46% of the cash. Pretty much a dead split. And it's moved 15 cents. It went from minus 130 to minus 145. Total has not moved. 9.5s, juice to the under. And you have 62% of the bets and 62% of the cash on the over. So you're juicing under. Activity coming in on the over. And it's Evans and Kikuchi. I don't know why the cash is coming in on the over here, other than to expect that this is a hitting-oriented baseball squad in the Angels, but that's a lot of pressure to put on the Angels in terms of runs to produce. Their team total's 4.5. It is minus 135s and minus 140s out there, so they're saying that they're going to put runs out there. And the over 4.5 is juiced to the under on the Mariners side of things, team total. 4.5 minus 140. So first glance, they're looking at it, they're saying, Angels are going to score more runs than the Mariners, and it's over that key number of 9, so they like runs. Digging in, you see Logan Evans pops off here. He's got a 5.06 road ERA. There's your culprit. That's why the Angels team total is juicy to the over. Last start for this guy, he's a 4-inning pitcher, and he gives up a ton of contact. 6 hits his last game, 4 innings, 2 runs. 9 hits the game before that. Granted, it was on the road. It was at the Yankees. Listen to his road numbers. He gave up 6 earned runs in that game. The last game he played before that was on the road against Arizona. He gave up 7 hits and 4 earned runs in that game. He's just putting runners on base, too. It's not like he's squeezing off a ton of home runs. He's only given up 4 home runs in his last 5 games. And that was 1 game had a 2, 2 games had a 1, and 2 games had a 0 out there. So you don't know what you're going to get, but you could suspect, one could surmise, when you go on the road, Logan Evans is going to give you some shit ball. And it's with that thought process that I had to jump in here and get involved. What's up, Barry? Jay Main likes Mariners. Sweat no bet. Won't let me play Astros to win in a parlay. Huh. I like the Altuve look today. I thought Altuve to get an RBI at like 175. I almost gave that out to you guys. I'm going to go to Kikuchi to get the win. I know. The reason is this number, it's more about where the number opened. That concerned me a little bit. Minus 130 for the Angels. It is their first trip. It is their first game back home after they started the All-Star break. So they had back-to-back series, and they were out there on the East Coast. So a little bit of travel had me wary. I didn't realize, though, and looking at Kikuchi, when he's a home favorite, they dominate. They score. They run for this guy. He's 11-0 in the home favorite role. And they win games by 3 or more runs on average in that 11-game sample. It's not like they're just squeaking them out. They're busting them up. The minus 1.5 is plus 143. But I just thought if Kikuchi's 11-0 in the home favorite role, then the reality there is he's winning the first 5. So I lay a half a run in the first 5. What if it's tied in the first 5? You lay the half a run. He goes into the 6th inning. They squeeze that run out there. And then, you lost your first 5 and you're hoping to push the game overall and just eat a little bit of the juice. No, we're going to swing up. Why? Because Seattle's 0-6. This is intersecting zeros. When they're in the dog roll versus a team that they're better than, kind of says to you, well, the books made them a dog for a reason. And when they lose those games, they get busted up. They're losing by over 4.5 runs a game in that 0-6 spot. Dog against a team that they have a better record than, and they're getting busted up by 4.5 runs. So all signs pointed back to Kikuchi to get the win. And at almost 2-1, great risk return bet out there. Jerry Davis says Kikuchi's on 4-day rest, Mikey. Could be short and start. Yeah, I mean, we run that risk. That's why he's at 185. But if he's out there mowing them down, they ain't taking him out. And it's post All-Star break, Jerry Davis. I think it's a great comment. I like that comment. Maybe I'll be the one that's eating shit in that situation, but it won't be the first time. Not that I have an acquired taste for the taste of shit, but it won't be the first time I've done that. I got a spot for you guys. Let's move over to the WNBA. We got 2 games in the W. And then we'll get you guys out of here. By the way, I do lean the LA Sparks. Jessie Pegula won the second set. Jessie's on her way. Jessie's girl. All right. We got the fever. We got the aces. We've been doing all right in the W. We had a great WNBA run. Somebody asked me the other day about the WNBA, and I'll tell you the recap of the WNBA. Played it almost better than anybody in the world until the 3 days before their All-Star break. We were on a 9-1 stretch. Crazy. I think we split the games going into the All-Star break, that 3-day stretch. And then we came out of the All-Star break and we started firing again. So we'll see if we can keep the groove going here. Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Look out, fellas. It's WNBA time here. This game pops off, so I'm going to give you guys these numbers right now. This game's going to kick off here in just a couple of minutes. I took the Indiana Fever first half, plus 1.5. Coming back after that loss, it was an embarrassing loss, but they're playing the Aces who just had a big win, a big cover win as well. And so yet, even though the Fever without Caitlin or with the Caitlin Clark suspect took that big L, they were 13-point favorite, 13-point dogs rather against the Liberty. I just think this is a bounce back at home situation. And the under trend jumped off the page. Las Vegas 16-0 to the under. Less than a 5-point favorite, less than 8 days rest after a game as a favorite. Small favorite after a favorite, shortened rest period. Under 16 straight times, 165.5. We're also at the back end of the move. You guys know I like to be there. It's gone from 162.5 to 165.5. So we're going to take that spot. Ouch. Ouch. I feel like something just bit my ear. My ear. Game number 2. The Seattle Storm, the Chicago Sky. I took the under in this game. Some 155s out there. 154.5s are fine as well. But DraftKings has the under 155 thought for me behind this. The Storm, I think the Storm do come back and rally. It is their second game of a back-to-back, so I do buy, that less of a defense situation out there. Not the second game of back. Excuse me, I'm way off on that. But it was the Dallas Wings spot. Seattle Storm only scored 63 points. They've been on a little scoring slump going into the All-Star break and then coming out. They played the Mystic, a bad team. They scored 69 points. Excuse me. They played Golden State Valkyries, a good team. They won. Surprisingly, this expansion Valkyries team, best team in covering the spread in the WNBA. They only scored 67 points. They play a shit team in the Dallas Wings. They lose outright. They scored 63 points. And the flip side, last 2 games for the Sky, 49 points and 68 points out there. It's Me-Bound Queen, Angel Reese, where they were expecting her to be serving, or she was expecting to potentially be serving a suspension. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. I haven't seen the official. There's a lot of points being laid in this game here. I mean, if she's in, obviously I would look to be involved in the Chicago Sky side of things there, because that's a bad team. It's a broken team, but they're not that bad. That's really bad to be sitting out there laying these kind of points at home on top of it. Doesn't add up to me. When these two teams play, head to head, they're averaging 165 points. So this number's coming down a whole 10 spot, kind of says somebody knows something out there. Last time they played, they scored 155 points. That was in Seattle. That was on July 7th. So the earlier part of last year. They haven't played since then. They'll have 3 games in this series between the two of them. This is game number 1. So I think game number 1 in this series is a feel them out. You don't want to go overexpose yourself. Maybe they just don't have the talent to go out there and compete with them. Either way, the Storm, I want to buy low on the offensive Storm production. At home is a different story than on the road. I think this guy can go out there and handle this 11.5 point spread. The uncertainties and the unknown for me. I'm going to take the Sky. I'm going to take the under 155. And that's how we're going to put a bow on the show. Aditi Day says, Mikey, where do you find these trends? I've got a multitude of sources, Aditi Day. Got some different services that I pay for that develop these trends for us. I've got some different trends that I've built. I've got some databases that I've built and established. Jeff Matthews, is she considered a star player? But it's tools, technology, and then the experience that we leverage here at DD Data. Try to put the trends to use for us to come up with angles to catch these wins. And I think it's been working pretty well for us. Pretty satisfactory so far. Let's go to the show. Let's see if we can put it up here tonight, you guys. I appreciate everybody rocking. Let's make some money. Make sure you support the squad by smashing that thumbs up button. You can check us out over at Winnable. You can find me at Winnable. And if you sign up for a month, I'll give you guys the rest of the month of July for free. So just trying to put some best bets out there, give you guys that are supporting us some of the best action, some of the early moves. I gave out some early action before the lines move early in the afternoon, before I have a chance to come on here and share with you guys. And sometimes that's the difference between a 7 and a 6.5. So I do appreciate everybody that does show the support and the love for the squad. Make sure you smash the thumbs up, leave a comment post-show with your favorite plays of the day. And we'll be back here tomorrow, joined by our guy, Andrew Babakitis, to talk about UFC Abu Dhabi and the look behind the counter. And we'll give you guys Major League Baseball. We should have a full slate of ball tomorrow. It'll be a lot of fun. Enjoy the outro, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Bring sleep